Well, good morning. Thank you to Bishop Sanchez and the organizing team for having the voice of survivors here. I really do appreciate that. Hello, welcome. What an amazing day, and what an honor it is to look out and see all you influential people. Passionate, compassionate, people working to make a shared world better. We come from different corners, different jobs with different focuses and goals. We've had different experiences, and we arrive here, to this room, with purposeful intent, together. Here today, we're focusing on what we share, not the differences, not competition, but instead, how we are the same, what are we capable of, and what we know is to be true. Each day, 7.3 billion people walk through the world across shared ground. We are simultaneously stewarding and destroying. It is within our power to choose how we move forward. You can show the first slide, that'd be great. In his 2007 Nobel Peace Prize lecture titled, Our Purpose, Al Gore spoke of a blinding lack of situational allowance, an inability to heed the signs, a failing to connect the dots, a lack of feeling connected to the earth, to one another, for a shared purpose. This resulted in devastating effects of carelessness, decision-making, which warm our world and our people beyond measure. Today, nearly a decade later, we continue to face those same threats. Among the most pressing are climate changes and modern-day slavery. Climate change is now affecting every country on every continent. The world's average surface temperature is projected to rise over 21st century and is likely to surpass a 3 degrees Celsius increase, with some areas of the world expected to warm even more. As it applies to modern-day slavery, the International Organization estimates nearly 21 million people are currently enslaved, while other estimated numbers are to be as high as 36 million. From a distance, these two issues may seem unrelated, isolated even, but nothing exists in isolation. No person, no choice, no cause without an effect. So we live in an increasingly interconnected, independent world, a world that needs us to see it as such and act accordingly, a world that will continue to change, as all things do, as a result of our actions. So we stand at crossroads in history. We can continue to suffer from what Pope Francis refers to as the tragic consequences of unchecked humanity. Or we can work together to find solutions and profoundly changes how we think, work, and govern, communicate, and live, in order to protect and to preserve the future, our shared world, and our shared humanity. This isn't a quick fix, it's a process. It begins with all of us coming together and making a universal commitment to creating one conversation that benefits everyone. Because the challenges we are facing affect everyone, it is up to us to choose what we do about it. Everyone, each in your own way. As we become more aware of the importance of environment, whether it's that of a world or our personal experiences, we cannot overlook the power of survivor-led solutions. My personal story is that of a young girl stolen from her family, sold into slavery at the age of 7. We're not talking about the slavery of history books, but the modern-day system that traffics human beings and human lives. You see, my captors used intimidation and force to control me, and by the age of 8, I was near death. We can put up power number 2. I had been beaten, starved, and tortured in order to submit to the will of my owner and my master. My physical and emotional condition was so dire that my body and mind had shut down. There you can see a little photo of me up there as the 7-year-old child. See, my traffickers, my owner, said I was no longer used to my slave owner, so he sold me for international adoption, looking like that, where there was no life in me because of the trafficking and the conditions that this slavery system puts little children in. You see, my adopted mother was from Washington State, USA. She thought she was getting an orphan from India. So she was understandably shocked and unprepared for the state I was in when I arrived. However, she poured her love into me and helped me restore. Love does heal. So I met my husband Trong in high school, also a victim of modern-day slavery. Trong was recruited to be a child soldier by the Vietcong and later rescued by the Indonesian government. With Trong's support, I found the strength to face my past. I traveled back to India in 1999, and I found my birth mother. Through a series of events, there were miracles. I discovered my past, and with it, my life's purpose. I became an advocate for the anti-slavery movement, a voice for unheard victims. That is why I'm here to tell you my story, because there are millions of other individuals, like the little girl I was, imprisoned, enslaved, and silenced. We bring a human face to the problem, to victims like the girls and young women living in rural areas of South Asia. They are targeted by modern-day slavery, but unseen by the rest of the world. Their plight, their suffering, hidden from view. Mine is not. So today, I speak for those without a voice, for the millions of children who wish they could be here to speak to you, to thank you for doing events like this. I speak for them, on behalf of them, to encourage you, to all of us, to think about the one in the millions. So through my experiences, I've learned horrific truths about the world, but I also learned that we have power to change through the choices we make. When our voices are heard, when victims and survivors are made visible, amazing things happen. We spark new conversations, we uncover new ideas, we unlock new solutions, and we bring the perspective and experience only victims, only survivors can bring to help to solve this global problem. We turn a social, geopolitical, economic issue into a human one. So in recent years, businesses have made great strides in this area. Corporate social responsibility programs have been established inside of many of our world's most powerful companies. Conscious consumerism has offered people a way to purchase products they love, doing good at the same time. So with this, consumers are coming to demand more from the businesses and brands that they adopt in their lives. Now, more than before, businesses' practices must reflect brand values which must align with consumer values. So doing the right thing is no longer a nice to have, or nor is it simply a marketing challenge. It's a fundamental business necessity. Companies may doing right within their own walls, but out in the world, but they're yet to find a way to seamlessly and transparently connect each phase of their supply chain, from workers finding their way to factories, to the standards factory owners are held to, and to how the goods are produced and transported and delivered to consumers. Together with my husband, we created the Rani Foundation to address this rapidly growing global issue. So working in conjunction with the Modern Slavery Act put into effect by the Parliament of the United Kingdom, we're leading the way towards increased supply chain transparency. Through our Corporate Freedom Initiative, we're promoting a fundamental shift in workplace standards and a zero-tolerance culture for modern-day slavery. We created the Freedom Seal to drive this effort. We can do PowerPoint number 3, thank you. And this is where I know some in this room, Marcus from Perkins Law Firm, has incredibly helped us to design this program to help businesses. So the Freedom Seal is not simply merely a mark, nor is it just a stamp of approval. Our seal provides evidence to regulatory authorities. It's a bold statement that as businesses and organizations, we are collectively committed to creating supply chains free of human trafficking. So what does this exactly mean? Think of the shirt you are wearing today. On its way to you, it was likely touched by countless human hands, many of them children, like the little girl I was. Many of them who arrived at their factory jobs through illegal slave trading. You see, the reason I want to bring this mark to the world is I want a symbol out in the world for freedom. My owner was employed in a cement company, and he was using children, 7 years old, to work in brick factories, to the point, working long hours, to the point that they look, and I looked, absolutely with no value. But today is a new beginning, right? All of us in this room have that opportunity to do something. And I'm just absolutely looking forward to working with you to create these solutions. So ladies and gentlemen, using kids as commodities and as slaves is morally wrong. This needs to stop. So I need your help this time, and the time has come, to hold ourselves and one another to higher standards, to understand what is happening at every step of the supply chain, and to conducting our businesses in more transparent ways. So often, change of this scale seems inaccessible. It's big, it's complex, I understand that. But today, we can do something. That's why the Freedom Seal is a process. By pledging your intent today, we become partners in that process. We educate, we guide, provide resources and assistance, and work together towards our shared goal. So this is a mark of a movement, a commitment to a world of change. It's a testament of the power of focused and dedicated action that gets bigger and gains momentum with each individual and each business. Together, my husband and I are proud to announce that we are also providing a technology solution to process the Freedom Seal. We have engineers and software development teams ready as to help bring data to this issue as well. So we have a delivery system that we're hoping that will bring in a system that we can look into and look at our progress. And our Freedom Seal process will help everyone to see who is committed to ending this trade. And most likely it will help protect children around the world. And also to give a voice to those who have been victimized in supply chains of governments and businesses. So this system, we also assist companies to drive transparency, supply chain visibility, and evaluate risks in their supply chains. Our operational team is ready to move forward from marketplace of victimization to a new type of market that one rewards companies for good behavior. So we are invited today to do just that, right? What are we here today? What's the difference we're going to make? Each of us can do something. So we know businesses, governments, and the media, there's so much power in this room. It is our responsibility. We must act. So on behalf of the businesses and organizations we lead, on behalf of the world we live in and the future we live in, and most importantly, on behalf of human beings who live and work, give and take, and choose to be part of the world every day. So I believe, as so does His Holiness Pope Francis, that our true nature as humans is to do good, to be part of a solution. And that solution manifests in such a responsible use of natural resources as it does responsible employment of human resources. As much as clean energy and in transparent supply chains, and as much in kindness, awareness, and commitment as individuals. So therefore, I ask you, as a former victim, as a survivor, a fellow human being, and a fellow leader, to pledge your intent to adopt and endorse this Freedom Seal as a global standard which organizations and businesses may be recognized for their commitment to eradicating human trafficking. So in doing so, we will end child labor in its all forms by 2025. We can all work in sustainable development goals, particularly to goal number 8 that was just adopted by the UN. And we could create a world where all individuals are given dignity and worth, no matter what the race is. So in conclusion, the most important thing, time is now. And the most important thing we can do for one another is hold the actions, holds the answer to what is most important in this world. So I'm here today as a survivor on behalf of millions of voiceless victims. So I stand here asking for your help. So all women and children have the right and access to fulfill their human potential. I believe there is no better way to lift up humanity and to help end human suffering. So I call upon you to commit yourselves, both individually and within your communities, to creating a world we know is possible. So within your sphere of influence, we know a world in which every person has the right to human dignity. Thank you.
Rani, thank you very much.